Would Ashiok make sense in the sideboard about a hinge against Money Pile? I don't. So I've actually heard this opinion a lot lately, that Ashiok is one of the better sideboard cards that John has access to against Money Pile. I don't know that I agree that Ashiok is very good against Money Pile. Like, it can be. It can be turn 3 on the play, but it's also, like, not great against Abundant Growth, not great against Prismatic Ending, not great against, like, them just, like, having non-fetch lands in hand. Oh, no, I needed to get Blood Crypt there. I obviously meant to get Blood Crypt. Just not playing very well. Feels bad. We'll just have Ragavan connected. Nothing will matter. But yeah, I don't know that I necessarily agree. Oh, then we really want to turn to Liliana in this matchup. Could draw a Black Source, maybe. Maybe Seasoned Pyromancer this turn. Yeah, Ashiok's also good against 4-color. It's good against Dredge, but yeah, I don't know. Like it is true. Like, you maybe do need a polarizing sideboard card like Ashiok in order to hedge for that matchup. Could play Chromatic Star into GOYF. The GOYF is also not as good because of the Relic. Yeah, I think with that kind of being the tiebreaker, I'll just Seasoned Pyromancer. Another monkey. Yeah, I think, like, the best sideboard cards you can play as Jund for Money Pile are Boil and Turok are the two best cards you can play. Which I've got 2 Turoks and a Boil here. Oh, I'll cast that. Don't look at my mana opponent. But I will be casting that. I'll spend this costs 3 lands to cast, correct? 3 lands to cast this one. So see, my opponent hopefully just doesn't have Natural Tron. I mean, it seems pretty likely because they kept a 7-card hand that didn't play a anything. But if they don't have Natural Tron, we probably just win. There it is. We'll see what their payoff is. Recall to Wormcoil, but either Karn is potentially beatable. What about Thrun? Great against control right now, too. Thrun, I think Thrun is a guard. I would play Boil over Thrun every single time because it's just so much better against 4-color Omnath than blue-white control. Thrun is not good against the Omnath deck. They just gain 4 life every turn and just ignore your Thrun. They laugh all the way to the bank at your Thrun. Do you bring Boil versus Titan? Yeah, I usually bring in the first copy at least. Opponent gets a Walking Ballista here. Pretty good choice. What am I doing with this bolt? I think I'm going to use it on the Karn right now. It's kind of close. Probably taking an L. That being said, we do have a lot of good cards in the sideboard. Got 2 Boseijus, 2 Moons. Turok's also pretty good. Yeah, I agree that Thrun is good against Murktide too. I just feel like the card's a little underpowered in general. They can cast a Wormcoil if they have one of those on their board. Instead, they get Needle. Okay, Needle's very beatable. Don't name my Bloodstained Mire, please. Probably get Yavimaya. They get Forest. I see this happen a lot. People getting Forest over Yavimaya in this spot. The Tron players aren't cutting Yavimaya, are they? I think I'll send... No, sorry, I'll send the one more Karn. I was thinking I could just ping the Karn. But if my opponent dismembers my Seasoned Pyromancer, I want to be able to ping the Karn so it can't minus again. They're not playing it much, somehow. It's kind of surprising to cut the Yavimaya. I don't know. Could be correct. Yavimaya against Boseiju, but yeah, but you just get a Forest, right? What? You just get a Forest, right? Maybe you just want to up your forest count for Boseiju, but you still should still be able to play like 3. Maybe it's tough to fit 3 in with you're also playing a copy of Boseiju. Just to make some sense. They grab a Sanctum of Ugin. Obviously, we're pretty thrilled that they're just very flooded. Bolt off the top, please, says the chat. And yes, says the deck. How did we win this game? What happened? I guess we just drew well and our opponent drew bad, is how. Alright, good to bring in 2 Boseiju, 2 Moon, 2 Turok, cutting the Fatal Pushes, the Terminate, 4th Wrenn and 6, Shadowspear. Oh, maybe the no, I want the 4th Wrenn because of the Boseijus. I want the 4th Wrenn because of the Boseijus. And then I've got the option of playing the Shadowspear, which is not very good. It's also true I only have 1 Urza Saga target at the moment though, so I can choose play a Pyrite Spellbomb maybe, or I could just play the Spear. Grist, yeah, you could play Grist or Turok. Turok's really kind of tough to cast is the problem, but like you could play Grist over Liliana, be fine. I think Liliana is really important to pressure opposing hands. You can board it out in some matchups. You could also main deck Endurance. Croaks is kind of tough to main deck in Jund Saga. Sometimes people like to play 1 copy and it's fine. This hand I think is a keep. We've got turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Boseiju, Boseiju plus Saga. If we get Overgrown Tomb, but then we can't Seasoned Pyromancer on turn 3. But I think it's still probably a keep. Is Boyo good at mono red prowess? I mean, it's probably somewhat playable. I don't know that I necessarily recommend it. I mean, I think I want to Inquisition this turn, and they have the option to play Saga plus Boseiju next turn. But maybe if I feel like I really need to Seasoned Pyromancer on turn 3, then I will just play Cliff's Boseiju next turn, and I'll take the Sylvan Scrying, and this way we can maybe keep them off the Tron, right? Aren't Spyro and Lily weird with Saga? I don't think so. I don't know. I feel like I don't necessarily understand the question. Just like the casting costs, I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal with them being 3 drops. Your mana's not perfect if that's the question. If that's the question, yeah, the mana's not perfect. Wait, no, their hand had the mine in it? Oh, no. Oh, what a punt. Dude, I can't believe I'm playing so bad this week. Oh, they had the exhibition map anyways. I was looking and I thought they tutored this up, and I realized just like right after I cast it that wasn't the case. Why display main deck Nito over main deck Pyrite Spellbomb? I tend to find Pyrite Spellbomb to be, in general, pretty weak. Oh, they played the mine. Okay, sorry. I'm just getting a little flustered, to be honest. Yeah, but I tend to find the main deck Pyrite Spellbomb to be pretty weak, where like this card, in my opinion, is like only in the deck to kill Sanctifier and Vec. I don't really find this card to do anything well besides kill the Sanctifier and Vec, right? And you will never really see a Sanctifier and Vec game 1, right? And so like I think you just want to bring these in to kill Sanctifiers, and like I don't think that you are like wanting to tutor them up as a shock that often. At least that's not what I found. And then the main deck Needle like usually has targets. You also get to surprise people pretty well with it. It makes like your Tron matchup better. Like, you know, it's a lot better if you run into Yawgmoth. I generally find it to be pretty good. Pyrite Spellbomb felt way better with Lurrus. Yeah, obviously better with Lurrus too. Yeah, I just really don't feel like there's like great argument for main decking this Spellbomb. Besides, like I don't know, if you feel like you want to tutor the shock effect enough, then that's fine. But I just generally haven't found myself wanting to do that. Pops the Relic. I hope we get to hit something with the Thoughtseize, and then we can, if they go, this goes to 7, then Spellbomb plus Turok activation kills the card. assuming the Thoughtseize hits something, which is not guaranteed to. Have I expressed my thoughts on the Gen Triome? I think I don't think it's a huge, crazy debate or anything, but yeah, I do think the card will see play. Okay, we know their hand is now just a Sanctum of Ugin, and they minus the Karn on the Overgrown Tomb and not the Turok. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest. I think I'll just cycle the Spellbomb here. They're at 20 life. I don't think the shock is that relevant. And then, if I'm going to force them to pop the O-Stone, I think I'd rather do it with the Wrenn and Six than the Tarmogoyf. Misclick? I don't think so. I think it was just a mistake. Like, how do you for that to be a misclick, they like have to misclick the -3 and then misclick targeting the Overgrown Tomb too. Maybe they meant to target the Turok, or maybe that was the misclick. So my opponent found a Boseiju, so they're probably gonna pop the O-Stone and Boseiju my Saga. Trigger the Turok, huh? Got a lot of good draws. Oh, Stone Coast Turok. I guess that's maybe like a fine enough reason. But I don't know. The just like plussing the Karn just seems so relevant. Just it was so hard for me to deal with it. So if they draw exactly Ulamog, they can't cast it. Cast that one though. Wormcoil Engine, still hard for the Jund deck to beat. Especially when you're top decking the discard spells. I think I just have to block. I don't like it any more than you do. Draw like Seasoned Pyromancer into GOYF maybe. Or they can draw a Walking Ballista and I can concede. Alright, I guess I could Thoughtseize the Ulamog, but we're still just drawing pretty light. It's on the play for game 3 though, which is a really big deal. Yeah, I do usually like this hand of discard spell into Lily on the play. They've also taken a mulligan here. Could have used Culling Ritual there. No Charm on the sideboard. We have Boseiju and Alpine Moon. Kind of like, you know, it's Charmal's just like not that good against Titan, but obviously it's incredible against this matchup. Pretty sure just take the map. But, you know, now you do get 15 sideboard cards now. But it's still only 15, unfortunately. Okay, I can beat a Thragtusk. I'm gonna take the... I can take Ugin Arc. I could also just take the Chromatic Star. That's Sphere. That's probably better, actually. Just deny them a cantrip. I can maybe needle the Ugin off the Saga. Okay, they found a Scrying. So their hand is currently Thragtusk, Ugin, Urza's Tower, and a mystery card. Am I discarding the Forest or a Lightning Bolts? I think I'll discard one of the bolts. It's kind of close. They discard Ulamog, which is the mystery draw. So as far as we know, they don't have another Tron piece or a way to tutor it. We'll see what they draw for turn. A Chromatic Star, which is obviously a rebuy. They can cycle now, looking for Sylvan Scrying, or they can just wait. They decide to just wait. We draw Needle for turn. So let me... If I plus, they're just going to discard the Ugin. I might discard the Needle. Maybe discard the Thragtusk and try to keep the Ugin. They do discard Ugin. Needle also grows my Urza Saga tokens, and I also get to, like, blind name something, and I'm not sure what that something needs to be here. They were not supposed to crack the star because star is not a mana. It's not it's a mana ability. Needle doesn't stop it. Can you narrate your game like a football announcer? Can you dance like a trained dog at a circus? Yeah, I think Needle and Karn makes sense because if like they're just one regular land from playing it, and they have 4 more in the deck. Yeah, naming map is also reasonable, but they've already used 1. And they rip Tron, but they only have the Thragtusk to play. We can maybe buy time to ultimate this Liliana. I think I'm gonna just main phase cycle this and see if I find just a different card to discard rather than the Liliana. Because ideally I'd like to play a second Liliana next turn after the ultimate. The last card is an Urza's Mine. So we obviously need them to brick this turn, then we get to ultimate Liliana. Just a Blast Zone, which they probably should have played pre-combat because of the Needle, to be honest. Alright, so I probably like here... Are there any Tron lands in the yard? There's a Mine. So maybe we put Power Plant Tower versus Blast Zone, Beast Token, Forest, Mine. Kind of like... I think this looks pretty good. Shows pretty quickly, so I'm going to go Edict on the Beast Token here. Attack for 2. And then Liliana chewing up their hands can be pretty relevant. We'll see if they take up the Blast Zone. We hope they do because we've got, you know, 2 1-drops. They don't take up the Blast Zone. And they draw and play O-Stone for turn. Okay. So we can go now. Dash Ragavan. Tarmogoyf plus Liliana. Tarmogoyf is definitely a fast clock, being a 7/8. We're attacking, it's a 2-turn clock, so they have to hit runner lands here. That's 1 land. It's 1 land. We can also draw Boseiju, I guess. Is there any point in plussing this Liliana? I don't really feel like there is. Either my opponent draws a land and we both go back to top deck mode, or they don't and we win. Oh wait, there's no way they sacked the Blast Zone here. Are you kidding me? Yeah, they thought about it for a second. There's no way they ever sacked the Blast Zone here, but it is good for them to think about it. Okay, we exile a land from the top of their library. We're just going to pass it back. We win if they don't draw lands. They tick the Blast Zone up. This kind of surprises me because now they can't answer my Ragavan. We win. Awesome. Oh, I guess they can... No, sorry, we don't preempt it there. They can find a land off the Stirrings and then sack the Blast Zone to kill the GOYF. Okay, yeah, not quite a win yet. But we do get to attack them down to 3 life, and then if we can draw the 3rd copy of Lightning Bolt, we've got lethal, but they miss on the land, and now they find Chromatic Star, so I don't even know what they're drawing to at this point. Awesome. Alright, gonna send this one back. Triple Urza Saga, Liliana the Veil. My opponent's mulled to 5. I think I'm gonna join them. Yeah, this hand's way better. This is definitely something that having 4 Wrenn and 6 in your deck really helps with, is your mulligans. Okay, opponent kept 5. I think I'm gonna join them and put back Terminate, Overgrown Tomb. Oh, it's Hammer. Stoneforge Mystic. Getting a hammer. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize them this turn. I'm going to get a basic forest also. Yeah, they're on the multi-5. Lurrus is gone. And yeah, I'm scared of a hand exactly like this. They have more hammers in their deck than they have paladins. I think I take the paladin. It's kind of close. But next turn we get to ping the Sentinel, paying for Sentinel. Not these turn ones taking Nibblers. You basically never Thoughtseize turn 1 into a Sentinel unless like there's a really weird board state. Thoughtseizing into Sentinel is just such a bad play. Okay, hopefully they don't have Cauldron in their deck. They don't. They do have a Sword of Fire and Ice though, so I guess we're going to be pretty forced into playing a GOYF this turn. Will Esper try to make Esper Stoneblade playable? We'll see. I think it's not very likely, but you never know. I do think that Esper Stoneblade, like Kaito's kind of interesting in Esper Stoneblade. They should have equipped onto a Sentinel. Now you know, just let them draw cards a lot easier. Huh. Interesting attack. I think I do want to eat a Sentinel here, so that way I can go Wrenn and Six, pay for Sentinel into GOYF next turn. And so like both ways they draw one card, but I get to kill a Sentinel, and I also have Wrenn and Six to like ping a Sentinel if I need to. I think this is fine. Just let them cycle the Sentinel. Also grows the GOYFs too. Wait, they pinged the GOYF? That doesn't do it. They just shock me. It is true that the GOYF font is really hard to read, so maybe that's what happened there. So I think I said I could play GOYF. I meant just ping the Sentinel. And then they've got a pause here in response to the trigger. I think my opponent's trying to figure out why the GOYF didn't die. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing something IRL. But it was 2 damage away from killing the GOYF. It was 2 damage away. Is it bad to give them a card so you can play Wrenn and GOYF this turn? I think so. I think it's bad to give them the card, yeah. When they have a hammer in their hand, just like digging them deeper to like a Paladin or Sigarda's Aid that we lose to just seems really bad to me. We're able to find room for HJ in this list, or think it's unnecessary for Jund. I mean, it has a lot of tension with Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf, and it has some tension with Wrenn and Six. It's not as bad though. I don't think it's necessary either, where like I also feel like HGA tends to make your good matchups better and your bad matchups worse for Jund Saga specifically, where it's like good against the Hammer Time, Shadow decks, Affinity decks, but those are already decks that you're pretty good against. It doesn't do, you know, anything against big mana Omnath or the decks that you're weak to. Do you ever miss playing Uro at Modern? No. Not even a little bit. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes, but only specifically in this deck. Only specifically in the Sultai Gifts deck. Everywhere else, do not miss it at all. No Kolaghan's Command needed. This is also like, it's not needed. No, you don't need a Kolaghan's Command in this deck. But this is just like, you know, there's so many options, right? There's like probably a dozen cards that would be totally reasonable includes in Jund that are going to be more reasonable in some metas than other, and that you could play. And so it's like Grist, Kolaghan's Command, Kroxa, Turok, Dragon Rage's Channeler, Unholy Heats. It's just like there's just like no end to like reasonable cards to include. But you know, we're not playing Yorion, so I think you gotta make trim somewhere. Is there any card I miss? The card I probably miss casting the most is Nihil the Harbinger, but it's still a legal card, but I don't really feel like it's been good for a while. I don't know. I played Twin before it was banned. I played Top before it was banned in Legacy. But I usually am just like pretty happy to move on and try new things. I don't think there's any like really big standout card that I miss. No. Yeah, so let's go make a token Needle Colossus Hammer. Which is basically Needle's Pure Steel Paladin. Attack for 5 before returning the Saga, then return the Saga, play second GOYF. You played Lurrus before it was banned? Yeah, I don't miss Lurrus either. Yeah, usually when cards are banned, I don't miss them that much. I'm just kind of excited to move on and try new things. I definitely missed Twin for a while. I missed Twin for a long time, but now I don't really miss it anymore. That was the most notable exception. Yeah, we've had probably like 15 to 20 people become VIP or mod off channel points. Okay, game 1. A lot of sideboard cards too. Feels great that we're winning our game 1s against Hammer and getting to bring in a pile of sideboard cards. Although it's like you need these answers to Sanctifier and Vec, because otherwise they are really tough to deal with. So this is how I sideboarded last time. 1 truck as a pro white 2/1. Don't think you really want 2. You could play 2 though. Yeah. Minguchi also became a VIP after a bet. Top band, yeah, top band in Legacy. Like when I was back in the day, I built Twin, and I got to play 1 FNM with Twin before Splinter Twin was banned in Modern. I was devastated, and so my plan was I'm going to buy into a deck in Legacy because it's way less likely to a deck gets banned in Legacy, right? And so I ended up buying into Top Miracles. I love the deck. I played 1 GP with it. I went 12-3. It was awesome. And then Top got banned like 3 or 4 months later. And I think those are like really the only 2 times I've been like super hurt by a banning, but it was rough. Turning off your own Saga, okay. Alpine Moon is not a symmetrical effect. Alpine Moon only affects your opponent's Urza Sagas. Yeah, I miss Mystic Sanctuary in the Miracles deck and in the... I've been so nostalgic for this deck today. I don't know why. This deck was like just such a delight to play. Just Gifts Ungiven with Uro and Mystic Sanctuary was just like... It was just the most fun ever. You have your Cryptic Command Loop. Ugh, love this deck. That's when yeah. Then I just started playing Brews, so I would never be hurt again. It's actually not true. I started playing like a lot of back then I used to watch a ton of Paul Cheon. I loved Paul's streams, and I want like his run with the Jeskai Nihiri deck was just so inspiring, and I actually ended up playing that Jeskai Nihiri deck for just the longest time. I was playing it like way after everybody else, and like there was like a GP and DFW, and I was like the only Jeskai Nihiri player in the room. And I started off 8-0, and then I was playing against Valakut, and I surgical their Valakuts, but I lost the last copy of Through the Breach. I beat a Titan, but I tapped out, knowing I lost only the last copy of Through the Breach. I lost to it, and then I lost to a Goryo's Vengeance player who was very likely to be cheating, who killed me on turn 2 on the play in games 1 and 3 in response to a fetch land, and then that player was later, banned for cheating. So I don't remember their name, but I was just like devastated to learn that later. Were they palming hands? I'm not sure. Like, they weren't banned from that tournament, and this is also like I heard secondhand that they were banned. I didn't really like get all the details. But it they may not have been cheating there, but it just obviously makes you think, right? interesting. I feel devastated about it rather than vindicated. I mean, at that time in my life, like my career wasn't going that well, like my personal life wasn't going that well, and like I was just so, I just really, really wanted to make the Pro Tour. Like all I cared about at the time was making the Pro Tour, and I hadn't done it at that point. And you know, for me to start off that tournament 8-0, and then have an opponent who potentially cost me a Pro Tour invite, like losing round 1 of day 2. It was devastating. It was like, you know, if I had been able to win that match and go on to do better in the tournament. I even like had a really good matchup. I had like multiple surgicals in my deck and like lots of cheap counter spells. How old was I? I was maybe like 21, 22 at the time. I'm about 27, about to be 28. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, please no witch hunting. This is like really old. Let's just move on. Okay, cool. We've kind of looked at this deck idea a few times. Ooh, that was a great top deck for them. Trash for treasure plus engineer. I do like that you're playing 1 Archon as a tutor target. That's usually what I recommend. You can potentially go down to like 2 Oval-Chase Daredevils if you want to, because you can unmark Grave for them. I like the Manufacturer a lot too, because I like to hardcast stuff. I think this list looks sick, actually. I might recommend like 1 more discard outlet for Asmo. And it's possible that you want to play like Voldaren Epicur over Bone Shards, because that gives you an artifact and lets you loot and blocks Ragavan, and I guess that's all it does. Yeah, but you might want to play Epicur over Bone Shards. I don't think you necessarily need the Bone Shards to the main. An Epicur giving you an artifact for Trash for Treasure is pretty relevant. And so yeah, I think -2 Bone Shards, -1 Daredevil, +2 Epicur is probably what I would do. But if this is just like a really tried and tested list, you don't need to listen to me. Yeah, draw looking pretty awkward here. I think I'm just going to get Pyrite Spellbomb and then cycle it. Try to find a land. Didn't find a land. And I guess I'll play Inkmoth or Alpine Moon on Inkmoth Nexus, but I'm very likely to concede next turn. Just finished the deck tech. I do like the Platinum Angel in the sideboard. I think it makes sense. I would split Nihil Spellbomb and Soul Guide Lancer because of Leyline of Sanctity. You might want to move some of these Bone Shards into the sideboard. They're probably not that necessary. The Charmals seem fine. I might want to see like a Sarah's Emissary and or Terrastodon on the board. I'm not sure if they're necessary. Dude, this is a big maybe board. 44 card maybe board. Why is there a Goblin Grenade there? Yeah, Salvage Titan is maybe a card that should be in the main deck, too. I'm not sure. Salvage Titan seems fine. Cool list, though. Cool list. I like it a lot. I think Renegade Rallier plus Saga is something worth exploring. Overall, too slow. I don't know. It's like the problem with Renegade Rallier is like you'd probably have to be playing Abzan, which is maybe a fine place to be, but like you can't really be Naya. Like the Naya decks tend to be like pretty weak. Okay, can they really not do anything else? They haven't played a land for turn, so what's on top of their library? It's either Reality Chip, which they would just play, or Cauldra. Okay, never drawing a land. Just go to game 3. Ooh, he pawns the deck. I kind of like the main deck Charmals. I'm kind of feeling them. I like the Fable of the Mirror Breaker too. If I was going to build this list, I would probably just main deck 4 Moon effects. Maybe do 4 Moon main, 2 Magus side. I think I would not main deck Pillage. I think I would just maybe play 4 Charball, 4 Pillage. And then I probably would potentially be playing playing Seasoned Pyromancer over Bloodbraid Elf and the 4th Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And Wrenn and Six. Yeah, I would play at least the first Wrenn and Six. I would play 4 Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm just not in love with Bloodbraid Elf. Like, it's just like you have so many 1-drops in this deck to hit. It's fine. Like, you can play Bloodbraid Elf, but I feel like I would just play Seasoned Pyromancer and Fable as my, like... keep this hand, obviously. As my, sorry, lose the train of thought. As my, like, grindy cards. You also have the Chandras. I guess that gives you some spots to play around with. You probably should just play Ragavan, to be honest, over the Pillages. I maybe you're not playing Ragavan as a budget concern, but... yeah, I would play Ragavan over Pillage, Seasoned Pyromancer over Bloodbraid Elf. The 4th Fable over the Tovlar, and then 4 Blood Moon main, 2 Mega Side, 4 Charmal main. Is probably how I would build this. And then, again, you also have potentially the option to... I think I'm going to just Wrenn and Six ping. You potentially, again, have the option to play like... You should play 1 Wrenn and Six somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Do not put Kitchen Finks in any of your modern decks again. Thank me later. I love Kitchen Finks. I also grew up on it. It is not, like, really close to being good anymore. Unfortunately, I wish that wasn't the case. I probably would want to see at least the 3rd Force of Vigor. Although I guess you have the 2 Ancient Grudge, so maybe the split is fine. I'd like to see probably 4 copies of Endurance. Just hedging against Graveyard decks and Murktide decks seem really important for you. Uh-oh. Well, we do have a Terminate for this. See who they attack here. They attack me. Okay, it's actually not so bad. Like, if you take up Pillages, it's still Ponza. I just really hate this question. Who cares if it's still Ponza? It's a better deck. But, like, it's, yeah, like, this has been, like, we've had this conversation before, and it's just so weird to me that, like, as soon as you take out the 1 copy, like, the 4 copies of Pillage, it's a different deck. It's a different deck. We used to have Charmals in there. But it also, again, does not matter if it's a different deck. As long as you feel like you're building the deck better. Yeah, I think holding a Bolt here is better than Inquisitioning. They need a Wrenn and Six, that's okay. It matters if your identity is Ponza person? Yeah, I guess so, huh? Okay, so we have to bolt the Ornithopter. They have no Metalcraft right now, but we don't have another answer to the Pure Steel Paladin. So maybe the Inquisition line would have worked out better, huh? We're not just dead. They also can't turn on Metalcraft because we got their Inkmoth Nexus. They have to draw an artifact. Which, obviously, they're, like, somewhat likely to do. Oh, that's a great artifact, too. What's the cut? Obosh and Chandra Bloodbraid Elf? You could, yeah, you could play Obosh, I guess. That's a reason to not play the Wrenn and Six. Alright, come on. Removal spell off the top. Liliana, Fatal Push, Terminate, Culling Ritual. Just those, I guess. I didn't use Wrenn and Six. I didn't use Wrenn and Six. I didn't use Wrenn and Six that turn. Yeah, no K commands in the deck, unfortunately. That's okay. Just gotta give you a little crap. Yeah, I'll just keep hovering over here so chat knows. Okay, that was the card in hands. Oh, bummer. Yeah, Culling Ritual will be pretty sick. Liliana no longer is a great top deck. They got another hammer instead of Shadowspear, which is just wrong. Unless there's no way they boarded out Shadowspear, right? Okay, oh, so it's not just wrong. They're just gonna put it on the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I'm just dead. We even drew the Terminate, which feels bad. Yeah, that's why they get it. Sorry. But I mean, I don't know. Like into the Urza Saga, I guess it's fine. Yeah, Fatal Push would have maybe let us survive, but it's not Fatal Push, and our 6-win streak comes to an end. McDerp, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you. 3 drops have been good and legal and modern since before the Luris ban. I'm gonna try to keep this hand. It's obviously like needs to draw a black source, but maybe we'll just draw a black source. I will also say that Glass Casket is a really weak card. It's pretty underpowered, and I would generally just recommend not powering your deck down by playing it. It's like, I think that it's a pretty easy trap for people to fall into when you're playing a deck like Fiddlebender, to just play as many tutor targets as you possibly can and overall diminish the card quality of your deck. And I think you should be looking to just have overall high card quality. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're making a token this turn. Needle Foothills. Needling Foothills is interesting. Yeah, I didn't really see the lime. Ash, you for the 6 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I was thinking I was just gonna end up discarding the Needle to Liliana, but that's probably the better play. Okay, so they suspend, search for tomorrow. We go to make a token. We would really like to draw a fetch land. Just a black source, I guess. It's kind of like a black source. So we Thoughtseize the Titan or go. Hold on. I think I'm just getting Shadowspear. Shadowspear, Needle, Sheltered Thicket. Yeah, I can also Needle Soccer Tribe Elder. Maybe that's better. And then I will attack with the Construct, and if they block, I'll bring Wrenn and Six back and bolt, and if not, I get 3 damage in. I didn't think they were super likely to block. But now we get to go Wrenn and Six, Thoughtseize the Titan. I do have a dog. My dog is not the dog that's barking. I have neighbors who neglect their dog, leave it outside all day. My dog doesn't bark. Alright, just the Scape Shift is fine. I should be able to Liliana that. I don't think I need to Edict with the Liliana. I think I just want to pressure their hand. And then it's kind of close whether or not I should attack with the Construct. I think I should attack. I think I can allow... Well, I guess if they attack the Wrenn and Six, then I can't go ping plus bolt the Dryad next turn. Alright, we can take a turn off then. They discarded the Scape Shift. Their hand is probably another Scape Shift or a Titan. They do get a Search for Tomorrow off, so if their last mystery card is another Titan, and they draw an untapped land for turn, they do get us. Sometimes you get got. I guess also Landscape Shift kills us too. They have no land in their hand though. It's pretty big for us. Yeah, so I feel like Bolt Dryad, Ping Dryad so I don't die to Scape Shift. Play Tarmogoyf plus Liliana is the line. HCA. Alright, this is the Jund Saga list. Good mana. Wait, they could have cast that last turn. They had Dryad in play. Why didn't they cast that? I guess they want to keep their card in hand. So now we'll see if that mystery card was a Primeval Titan. If it's a Scape Shift, they're still 1 card short of triggering Valakut. They could just Scape Shift. If they get a Mountain here, then they can get Valakut Mountain and kill my Construct. I'm missing 4th Wrenn and Six for this list with -1 Lily, -1 risk, plus 2 Grace of Ice. I would play the 4 Lilianas. Like, they're just so important in matchups exactly like this one. I don't know. Their last card was a Titan. You are of course free to build a deck however you want though, but that's not what I would recommend. Yeah, so they can get one Valakut trigger, which is what they do. On the Liliana, so they get the Liliana off the table after I Edict, which is fine. So I'm going to Edict, return Saga, equip Shadowspear. Oh, and they just did on board. How's the deck with Aluris? We're currently 6-1 on the day. It's been pretty good. I think the Temur Loam Saga decks are not very good, but they are very cool. I'm playing Dread. I'll bring in the Boil. Yeah, we had 2 Sagas in the yard. It's okay. Not a big deal. Don't beat yourself up. It's my job. I might bring in the second Boseiju. It's kind of close. Boseiju gives Amulet Saga Dryad. They're not playing Amulet. They're playing just Red Green Titan Shift, which is Boseiju's a lot worse against. What's the reason of 4 Thoughtseize to Inquisition over the sort of standard opposite split? The standard opposite split is out of date and you should not do it anymore. I've been very passionate about this. I think I will play the second, just not the full 3. I've been very passionate about this. The old Thoughtseize Inquisition split is out of date, in my opinion. There is no end to the laundry list of relevant cards that Thoughtseize hits, or like super relevant cards that Thoughtseize hits that Inquisition misses. Murktide Regent, Omnath, Solitude, Fury, Primeval Titan, all the Karns. It's just like, it just goes on and on and on. And like you just like can't say, well, this is what I've always done. I've always just played 4 copies of Inquisition. I'm never gonna reconsider. I think it's just like not a good way to approach building the decks. What does Boyle do here? If they play Dryad at the Elysian Grove, Boyle kills all their lands, because all their lands are at that point islands. Like, just Thoughtseize is so much better than Inquisition in Modern right now. It's also true, like, Burn is not nearly as popular as it used to be. So, like, in the past, that used to be a big reason to play Inquisition over Thoughtseize was Burn was a tier 1 deck. Burn hasn't been a tier 1 deck in Modern in a really long time, and, like, just continues to not be. Is Boyle good against regular Titan? Yeah. You really like Boyle in these red decks? I've been liking it a lot, yeah. I think that with blue-white control and 4-color Omnath are popular enough to justify the first color copy of Boyle, and you get to bring in it against Dryad decks, some other more obscure decks sometimes. Interesting draw. I kind of think I'm going to get Veil Summered, to be honest. Like, what am I even trying to hit with Inquisition? Yeah, there's basically nothing. I think I'm just going to go for a Ragavan dash and play a Saga post-combat. What tier is Burn? I would say that it's like tier 2 or 3, but it's not a tier 1 deck. We could Sakura Tribelder. I guess that's fine. I don't really need to play the Moon this turn. Got a hat redemption for JM. Do you have a preference, or do you want me to choose? I think Steve is good. Yeah, Sakura Tribelder is the new staple. Has anyone ever, like, recurred Sakura Tribelder with Luris? I'm sure somebody has. Yeah, this is our second league of the day. I should probably get a swap, but I have a lot of red in my hands. I really think I'm going to get Veil Summered. What does my turn look like? Probably... I really think they have Veil, so maybe I'm just going to go, like, Seasoned Pyromancer, discard Inquisition Fatal Push, then cast Alpine Moon so I don't lose to removal spell at Ragavan. Yeah, sagas are different. Maybe I should trim some sagas because I sight out most of my targets too. Their deck is pretty weak to Valakut. Or sorry, Alpine Moon on Valakut. Although I guess they do have HCA, huh? Again, I really think they've got Veil. They did have a Valakut in their hands. HCA would be pretty devastating. Okay, just a Titan. Unlikely to be super scary. Got a 6/7 Tarmogoyf. So this turn we can play Seasoned Pyromancer, discard Ragavan Boil. I know everybody hates to see me discard the the Boil. And then I can basically send in Seasoned Pyromancer for 2 damage this turn. Put my opponent to 13. The next turn I equip here, 7 power. They block the other Seasoned Pyromancer. Then they take 7 plus 4, which is 11, which is not quite lethal. So I think I just pass. Yeah, Boil for Dryad. Uh-oh. Alright, game 3 on the play. Any hat's fine, whichever is the weirdest. Okay, I will get this one. I feel like definitely qualifies as the weirdest. Yeah, let me trim a Saga. Maybe not for the 3rd Boseiju though. I don't really see too much else. I could play a Bolt. Maybe I'll play just 1 Bolt. Okay, love this hand. Probably just playing Boseiju as a land, but that's obviously fine. We've got the Alpine Moon to interact with there. Valakuts anyways. I guess you can keep your Wrenn and Sixes. I didn't know the list played that many Wrens. I don't know. I mean, I think Wren's very good in their deck, though, for whatever that's worth. I think my GOYF will only be a 3/4 at most, so there's a good chance we're just, you know, ignoring the Wrenn and Six for this turn. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Explorer. I think I'll just attack them. Would Alpine Moon naming Foothills be any good? I mean, they still get to tap the Foothills for mana. I don't know. It's also like Alpine Moon on Valakut just such like their whole deck down so hard. It's also like just a disaster if they draw another fetch land. It's kind of an interesting thought, I guess. Okay, so let's go Thoughtseize again. Okay, now we have to take a Wrenn and Six, but we get to go. I think we're still ignoring the Wrenn. We get to attack them for 5, and then play a second GOYF. And we can attack for 8 next turn, and then ping them for Exacxes. Oh, now we're gonna play a Soccer Tri-Builder. Just kidding. It keeps them from recurring fetches with Wrenn. It only keeps them from recurring fetches if they never draw another fetch land, and I don't know. It's at least something to like talk about, but I just can't imagine that that's the correct line. Did I miss a deck tech from Flameo Hotman? I don't think so. Did I miss another deck tech? I thought I did. I thought I did this one. No, you're good, Flameo. If I miss, yeah, I did miss this one. Okay, sorry. Yeah, if I miss it, just yell at me. We had so many. I thought I did them all. Yeah, if I miss it, just yell at me till I hear you. So this is an Esper version of the Parhelion deck. I think you're. Oh, you have Lingering Souls. Oh man, Lingering Souls plus Copter is pretty sick. Yeah, looks like we got lethal. Okay, my first thoughts are that I really like the list. I really like the Kaitos. I really like the Lingering Souls to go with your Copters and all your looting effects. Yeah, my first thoughts are that I like it. Okay. I might like to see more Dovin's Vetoes. Okay, we can keep this. I might like to see some kind of like transformative sideboard too, like potentially like 2 Stoneforge Mystics and a Cauldron could be nice. I'm not sure. Maybe like a Geist of St. Traft. It's probably a little lost in the sauce. Can I get a basic mountain here? I think I could, but I think I'd rather get a Blood Crypt. I think I'll let them draw the card so I can hit with Ragavan. Yeah, I'm definitely not immune to being lost in the sauce. Guys, it's not winning its Void X control. I mean, that's not true now that they're playing Snapcasters and stuff again. But I do feel like your opponents are going to bring in like a lot of creature removal and graveyard hate. And if you just like slam a Geist of St. Traft, it's going to get them maybe just like 1 copy. And again, it's maybe a little too deep, but it's okay. Yeah. It's just something to think about. I need Murktide as a control deck. So, you know, it's okay that you're struggling with the matchup, but I actually do usually feel like Murktide is pretty unfavorable against control. You have access to cards like Chalice of the Void, Solitude, Supreme Verdict, Teferi Time Raveler, Rest in Peace. All of these cards are really good against Murktide. It can be a difficult matchup to navigate, and you know, when Murktide also has like their nut draws against you, it can be pretty tough to win. I both really want to play my Urza Saga, and I really want to not draw that land. But I think that playing the Saga is probably a little bit more important. I think that they're actually more likely to be just like seeing the Ingenious Smith, just like blue-white affinity. If I could only stop either Rest in Peace or Chalice X1 as Murktide, which I think is best. I mean, Chalice X1 just like wrecks you. It wrecks you harder than Rest in Peace does. Okay, Shocks in the Fountain. Passes back. Tarmogoyf. I would be pretty happy to trade Ragavan for the Urza Saga token here. So let's just go ahead and offer that trade here. Have I had any more thoughts on playing Pioneer? I pretty actively want to play Pioneer at this point. But I do not want to just stream myself relearning Pioneer. I used to be like one of the most familiar people with the format, and now I haven't played it in like over a year at least at this point. And I never want this channel to be Spike learns the format, you know. Like I'm okay kind of testing untested brews every once in a while, but like usually ones that I feel good about, or like when a new set releases, that's fine. But if I'm streaming Pioneer, I want you guys to think that I've been playtesting, I've been working on it off stream. And I think I'm only going to do that when Modern dries up a little bit, and Modern hasn't dried up at all lately. It's been very, very dynamic and interesting. Think guys has a place in the main for any deck? Probably not, no. What's the best Doomblade in Modern? Probably Doomblade. I don't know, like Missing Shadow's kind of relevant, but now that Lurrus is gone, there's not that many black creatures besides like exactly Death Shadow. I guess there's like Croaks of Turok. But there's also like a lot of artifact creatures, a lot of legendary creatures. I think Doomblade's probably the best one. Yeah, maybe Sudden Edict is better. Infernal Grasp? I don't know. Maybe. Kind of depends on what deck you're playing. Heartless Act? Heartless Act, I think too many cards have counters on them. It's like a surprising number. Like Heartless Act misses Murktide Regent, which is like one of the main cards you'd be playing a Doomblade effect for is killing Murktide Regent. And Heartless Act misses that. Not push. Well, push is not a Doomblade effect. It's its own thing. Yeah, Terminate's also different because it's, you know, obviously better if you are a red-black deck, but not every deck is. Yeah, eliminate. Yeah, the problem with eliminate is like the main reason you'd be playing that kind of effect is to hedge against specifically Murktide Regent, and you just can't play any of the effects that are not good against Murktide Regent, in my opinion. Okay, so we'll probably get Shadowspear. I could Needle their Saga. I guess that might be correct. It's because I don't, my Wrenn and Six is Needled, so I can't like recur my Saga anyways. And I think I'm pretty happy to just terminate this token. And then I can bolt the Ingenious Smith, and I don't have lethal if I do that though. Because I go down an artifact, so I think I'll just attack, and then if they trade with the Ragavan, they die. If they chump block, I get a token and a Ragavan hit. How did the Mardu Asmo vehicles do again? I thought that was fine. Someone just posted like a cool Esper list. It definitely looked better than like any of the Esper lists I tried to cook up. What's the best deck, Neo spawned or boosted? I mean, there's a lot of them. Like, the Affinity deck's got so much. The Anvil deck was a deck that got birthed into existence. I think that deck's pretty good. The Cabal Coffers deck is, like, surprisingly viable now, with Invoke Despair being very quietly a really good card in those matchups. There's a lot. Do we think they'll have Sanctifier? They sometimes do. Probably want the rituals. I think I'm gonna go -1 Inquisition, -4 Liliana, -2 Nihil Spellbomb. I'll bring in the Pyrite Spellbomb as like a third target. Maybe I want second Terminate for Urza. Second Terminate. I guess I have 4 push. It's probably fine. Yeah, I love Neo Dynasty. One of my favorite sets ever, for sure. Do you bring in Boseiju into board out Saga? Sometimes. I don't think I did that earlier against like Titan Shift when I was boarding out most of my Saga targets. But in this deck, like, you're gonna be channeling it a lot, so it's like doesn't necessarily count so much as a spell, I feel. What do you feel of Tails in the Murktide sideboard? Some interactions, stop channel cards. Stopping channel cards isn't relevant for Murktide. Stop Solitude. I mean, this stops Titan. That's the thing, is like you're still getting 2 for 1 off Solitude and Titan. Or I guess if they're evoking Solitude, that's not true. But I would rather play like Dress Down to at least draw a card and stop those ETB triggers. Probably just like a little lost in the sauce. How do you feel about this hand on the draw against Blue-White Affinity? We've got 2 pretty good sideboard cards. We're on the draw, but it's Culling Ritual is pretty expensive. We have Moon against their Sagas, though. Pretty close. What's the deck I enjoyed the most playing in paper? Probably Jeskai Nahiri or Ants. Yeah, it's gotta be Ants in Legacy, actually. I'm gonna take a mulligan. Keep this Shadowspear, I think. Keep and Weep. I like that. I haven't heard that before. Yeah. Relic's pretty good here. Keep and Weep. I really like that, actually. Might start using that. I think I get a Stomping Ground. I trade my 4 Ragavans for 4 Stoneforge and 4 Solitude. What do I think about that? That sounds relatively even value, but obviously, like, I think that getting max value out of your trades, you know, this is an opinion that I started to form back when I was doing a lot of paper grinding, but I think that like getting max value out of your trades is like a lot less relevant than just like getting to play the decks that you want to play. So, like, as long as you feel like you're going to be playing Stoneforge Mystic decks and Solitude decks, that's like, ultimately what matters. Because, like, I've seen so many people... They kept a one-lander? Well then, I've seen so many people like hold on to cards that they're never going to play with because they think they're going to go up in value, or not trade for cards because they think the cards are going to go down in value, but then they just don't get to play the decks they want to play. And ultimately, I think the main thing that matters in Magic is getting to play with the decks you want to play with. And you can trade stocks if you're just trying to like maximize a collection in the long term. How's Culling Ritual been? It's a super important sideboard card for this deck to beat Sanctifier in deck out of Hammer Time post board. It obviously can come in against like Rhinos and Affinity decks too, but I think it is a really important sideboard card because it kills Sanctifier and then also wipes the rest of the board too. Do you have a list of Jeskai Nahiri? I mean, I've played some Jeskai Nahiri decks in Modern since the deck kind of fell off, but for the most part, I don't have an up-to-date list. I'm just kind of reminiscing a little bit. Okay, I'm probably going to need a Blood Crypt here, so I'll play this out so I can get a Swamp with the Mire if I want. Is Culling Ritual worth playing in Yogg? Well, I tend to feel like Culling Ritual is not as needed in Yogg since yes, that's not Athena, it's neighbor's dog. I feel like Culling Ritual is not as needed because you typically have a pretty good Hammer Time matchup, but it is a playable card. Yeah, the big hat is dead. Yeah, I would play one copy of the Gen Triome. Maybe over like second Overgrown Tomb. Yogg plays Crime Punishment. Yeah, Culling Ritual might be better, but it's also true Culling Ritual kills your own mana dorks in that matchup, which is a little bit of an issue, right? No, I don't own any power. I don't know that I like have one specific piece of power I'd want more than any other. Maybe a Mox Sapphire. I doubt I will ever own any power too. Isn't HGA better than Culling Ritual? No, because like one of the main reasons you're playing it in the first place is to be able to kill Sanctifier in back. Dude, playing Wrenn and Six this turn's gotta be correct. Needle the Relic. I think I'm gonna save push for Urza. No, I haven't explored Tamashi at all. I mean, Tamashi's like a fine card, but I don't think there's like really much room for that card beyond just like the existing combo lists. Also playing Thoughtseize over Inquisition Desperate Control. I wouldn't play either. I wouldn't play any discard spells in the main deck of Blue White X Control, but I'm also of the opinion that I can't think of a single modern deck where I would want the first copy of Inquisition before the fourth copy of Thoughtseize. I really do believe that Thoughtseize is that relevant. So it is kind of a tough call here between growing Tarmogoyf and advancing my board by playing Seasoned Pyromancer, or having a push for Urza. But I think I can maybe beat an Urza anyways. Famous last words, perhaps. Am I gonna ever Culling Ritual next turn? If I do, there's a Ragavan underneath the portable hole. I guess I'm like, I can dash the Ragavan. I don't need to cast it here. There's Solitude? Z-Boy control list with 3 Field of Ruin, kind of wild mana. Yeah, I really think Field of Ruin is just like, people play it because it used to be good and they're used to playing it, but maybe I should have minus the Wrenn and Six actually. Queen Dig and grow the GOYF. But like, people play Field of Ruin because it used to be good, right? But it's like, I don't understand wanting to play Field of Ruin in a world where, like, you're playing Counterspell Archmage's Charm. It's just like, and you also, like, you're already, like, pretty good against the big mana decks anyways. You're good against the Saga decks. Like, I just don't understand why you want to make your mana worse. Yeah, Lantern's not, like, a super popular deck. I also think they should be playing for Thoughtseize too, because, like, Primeval Titan, Karn the Great Creator are super important to take. A few other cards, I guess. Yeah, Field is good to mill, that's true. What's my favorite modern combo deck? Probably Yawgmoth. Yeah. Run Colonnade, Hall of the Storm Giant. I would probably not play any Colonnades, but Hall of the Storm Giant is fine. And you also have Odawara and the castles as utility lands. Buffy is saying Tron is a bad matchup again with blue-white cutting seas for March. That does feel worse. Well, I mean, it just doesn't have to be a bad matchup though, right? Like, you don't have to cut the spreading seas. You could sideboard them too. So if I dash Ragavan, play Seasoned Pyromancer, this becomes 3/4. They block here. They take 4, 5, 6. If I played against any General Rockrick list. Yeah, I have a General Rockrick deck that I like to play when Ragavan decks, Hammer Time decks, and Cascade decks are popular. You can find it in the Stream Decker or YouTube or Channel Fireball, or maybe I'll pull it up in a second. How does Yogg do against Omnath? I don't think very well. Like, usually creature-based decks aren't that good against Omnath. How terrible is playing Spreading Seas and Shadow instead of Alpine Moon? I feel like, you know, your Shadow decks are very much all about that mana efficiency, you know, and just not that mana efficient of a card. Do they really have Solitude? No, they just conceded. Okay, 3-1. We're currently 8-1 on the day. First, I'm gonna mulligan this hand. My current opinion, I actually wrote like a little tiny highlight for this. It's if you feel like you really need a Moon effect for the Titan Tron matchup, and you don't want to play specifically and you don't feel like you want to play a Moon effect against I'm just gonna play the Ragavan. You don't want to play a Moon effect against 4-color Omnath, which I think at the moment you shouldn't play a Moon effect against 4-color Omnath. They're just like so good at ignoring it. They're so ready for it. I really don't think you get much equity playing around, or playing into the Moon effects. So it gets a Teamer, Wrenn and Six deck. I kind of like Bolt plus Thoughtseize this turn. It's kind of close between that and GOYF. Yeah, so because I don't think that you want a Moon effect against 4-color Omnath, I think that the decision becomes, do I want to play of course they're playing creativity. The decision at that point becomes, do I want to play a Moon effect at all? Because like you actually have, as Murktide, you kind of have a reasonable matchup against Tron and Titan already. You can play more counterspells or subtleties in those matchups if you want to, but that's just kind of your deciding point at that point. Sorry, because sometimes it's hard to talk and play. I think I'll take the Hard Evidence. It's kind of close though. Yeah, Basic Mountain gave it away. Should have realized it turned sooner, that we were up against creativity. Hopefully these GOYFs get him dead. It's tight and the other versions can't play Basic Mountain. I don't think that's true. I think basically every version of creativity plays one Basic Mountain. No? Really? I really think every version of creativity plays one. It's usually just Island Plains. That doesn't... I mean, you have every single one of your fetch lands is red. So, like, the fact... Like not all of your fetches get Island Plains, do they? I guess, are you just on... 4 Mesa for Tarn? I thought you were on more fetch lands than that, though. You need to be Blood Moon. I don't know, like, people always act like the basic mountain makes you that much worse against Blood Moon, but it's like, it's not worse than any other any other land, you know? Maybe you are kind of choked on the amount of non-basics you can play. So I'm definitely playing the Wrenn and Six, so if they are somehow playing Archon over Titan, can maybe sack that to the Archon. I always get so embarrassed when those dogs are barking outside because everyone thinks that I'm like this bad dog owner. Maybe it's really strained. Every land needs a reason to be there. The mountain is for painless fetching, just really isn't enough to justify it. Okay, I think that's like not a bad take. I think I disagree that it's not enough to justify it, but I think it's a reasonable opinion to have. You are right about them being on Titans, though. That's a Murktide with Tarmogoyf in the main deck. I really just dislike the Temur Murktide deck with GOYF. It's like Murktide and GOYF play really poorly together. You don't really need another giant threat because you're a Murktide deck, in my opinion. And GOYF is also like a lot worse in a blue base shell rather than a black base spell with discard spells. I'm just really not a believer. Boyle is not terrible against them. I think I'm probably not bringing it in. Don't have a lot of sideboard cards for the matchup. I could bring in Alpine Moon for Dwarven Mine. I think I usually think that's okay. Okay, but not great. Might play the Pyrite Spellbomb. I don't like that it doesn't kill the hard evidence token though. Kind of like the Turox. Yeah, you could play Grist in this deck, but it's also like, this is a Jund deck. You kind of have like no limit of cards that are fine. I do like Grist in like the non-Saga versions, because you get to play more 3-drops, but I think when you're playing Saga, you can't play like 9 or 10 3-drops. Chromus, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you. Do you think Unearthed Mentor is a playable strategy in Modern? Well, I played some Unearthed Mentor on the stream. And it was actually like one of my more popular decks ever, to my surprise. And like recently I've been kind of I was working on this last night, and it's not, this is one of these brews that's not ready, maybe it's never ready. But I was thinking of trying to pair Mentor plus Imri in a kind of affinity Unearthed shell, where obviously Imri is really good with Unearthed, milling you, and being unearthed for value. And then we're playing Sentinel, Portable Hole, Hard Evidence. And then Springleaf Drum is actually pretty sick with Mentor. We get to go Mentor, tap Mentor, 4 mana, cast something, trigger Mentor. I don't know. Deck seems pretty bad. Yeah, I agree. Like, this is, it's just not, I agree that it's pretty bad. I only played like 2 matches. I lost both of them. Like, I don't know if there's a way to tune it up or if it's just going to be bad. But I think there's some things to like here. But this is like probably one of those decks that just dies off stream. And there's a lot of decks that die off stream, to be honest. I also had I had that as like a bad Esper Brew last night. I also had another bad Esper Brew I can maybe pull up in a second. That, like, I don't know, maybe this other one maybe has more potential, maybe doesn't. I'm just not sure. Where'd I get the hat? I'm wearing Esther bought it for me. She bought it at like a street festival. So I was messing around with this last night. I feel like this is close, but this build, I think there's something off about it. I'm not sure what. But the idea is discover the impossible, lets you dig really deep for either Gorya's Vengeance or Mending to enable you to, Gorya's Vengeance, Gristlebrand. And as soon as you can do this is turn 3. And so the idea is that you just want to hit them with Gristlebrand, then draw into an Ephemerate, and an Ephemerate you Gristlebrand, and then you also have Grief Ephemerate. And then Grief is good when you go off with Gristlebrand to just like draw a bunch of cards, get their hand empty, and pass. So I do feel like there's something here. Yeah, I consider playing Jace over Snapcaster. Snapcaster I feel plays better with the Discover the Impossible game plan, and with the Ephemerates though. But again, I'm just not sure. There's a lot of ins and outs to that case. So I don't know. I'm still working on that deck, but you know, I think it's good to also give a little bit of insight into the process, you know, because a lot of decks are like this. They just like, there's like an idea, right? Like obviously you can see that there's like something to the Emery Unearthed Mentor deck, and there's something to this deck too. But so many of these decks just die because there's not enough there to really justify playing them. Is Saga still the way to go, John? It's been going really well today. We're currently 8-1. We might be following though this round. Gonna Edict the Crab, I think. Maybe Edicting the Crab is no. They could just creativity like a token or a dwarf, and so like Liliana Edict isn't getting them anyways. I've already played a land this turn, so I think I'll ping them, which is a nice even 10 life for my GOYFs. Okay. No, I like Boros Stoneblade more than any of the other Stoneblade variants at the moment. So I have an ending for my GOYF. Any chance I want to play a Saga this turn? There is, but if I draw a Bolt, I'm going to want to kill the Wrenn and Six. I'm just going to play this. Kill the Wrenn and Six with the ping plus the Bolt. This card's Veil of Summer. It's kind of scary. I guess the Glimpse of the Kaido Stoneblade deck. I think it just needs some work. I don't know. Like a lot of these lists just either need work and more thought and tuning put into them, and some of them are just like kind of stuck forever. And some of them eventually get there, either when like, you know, ideas come or new cards come, and but like so many of the decks off stream just never end up making it to the stream. I think Wandering Emperor is going to stay a modern staple. I don't know. I think that card is playable. I think it is good in very creature-heavy metagames. I also think it is overhyped. Like a lot of people are kind of treating it as like the new de facto best 4-drop for blue-white control, and I just don't think that that's the case. It is playable. It is playable. It is good, but it is like there's a lot there's kind of like no shortage of like planeswalkers you can play in blue-white, and you have to choose to play it over like all the other ones or most of the other ones. Kerberos, the 27 months. Appreciate you, buddy. It's been a long time, dude. Everyone's got 2 cards in their hand. Monkey. So let's ping the dwarf token. Dash Ragavan. Just gonna send in at my opponent, I think. Same black and a pull Twitter whether Wandering Emperor was top 5 or top 15. There's no way it's top 5. It's like laughably not top 5. But it is maybe top 15, yeah. Guess it's better to play a second Liliana. I mean, I guess I could maybe just get both cards out of their hand, but they didn't have a creativity last turn, so I think I'd rather just get an Urza Saga into play. Yeah, maybe top 5 legal and modern, but like top 5 planeswalkers of our time, it's just like so clearly like Wrenn and Six, Oko, Teferi, Time Raveler, Karn the Great Creator, and then you could like make a debate for like Jace the Mind Sculptor or Narset. But it's like definitely not Wandering Emperor. Yeah, maybe Deck Fade in, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Oko's best, I think, then Wrenn and Six. And then like you can make an argument for Teferi, Time Raveler, or Karn. Karn is like restricted in Vintage. It got Mike and Sith Lattice banned in Modern. It's great in Legacy too, or like good in Legacy. So I think it's also great in Modern still, even with Mike and Sith Lattice banned. So I think you can make a close argument for like I feel like Oko and Wrenn and Six are in their own tier. Then Karn the Great Creator and Teferi are in their own tier, and then you can make a good argument for like Narset or Jace, I think, for the next best one. Wex, thank you for the 6 months. Appreciate you. yeah, maybe Teferi Hero, maybe not Teferi Hero. But like it's just like the main point I'm trying to make is like there's no way the Wandering Emperor it's just not close to like these cards. Well, maybe it's close to Jace, but I think like Jace has got like kind of also has like this rich history and kind of prestige to the card. Been good in older formats too. Okay, so they've gone to 2 life here, which is pretty risky, especially when I can Edict the Titan. I guess they can ping the Liliana. I have 3 Lightning Bolts, 3 Wrenn and Sixes, and 1 Pyrite Spellbomb. Or did I not bring in the Pyrite Spellbomb? I didn't bring it in. Okay, sorry. Well, I'm going to cast the Seasoned Pyromancer. Wrenn for the win? Hope so. Maybe I should tap the Saga to try to Wrenn for the win. I should have. Okay. Well, never get punished by anything, I guess, is the motto of today. Never get punished even a little bit. Yeah, deck's definitely been carrying us. Karn gets played in a few mono decks, so there'd be a viable Jund deck to play his Karn. I think that Karn is usually much worse in decks that don't ramp. I say this, I have played Jund and I have played Karn and Jund before. Yeah, we need to do top 5 sexiest planeswalkers. Number 1 is obviously Nicol Bolas. And then it just kind of gets, you know, who cares after that? A lot less interesting. I think I'll mulligan this. No Ragavan, no discard spell. Okay, keep this one. It's Oko. Oko's not a giant dragon that wants to kill you, so maybe we're just into different things, I guess. Dovin. Have you seen Johnny's abs? Oh no, the furries are coming out. It's fine. Everybody can have their own favorite planeswalker. I guess Ugin's also like another giant dragon. So I guess Ugin's number 2. Yeah, the furries are coming out, but the dragons are really where it's at for me personally. Flip. Is Flip actually a planeswalker? Dude, just fix my mana. Not super likely to sacrifice the treasure to sack the clue. I might, though. Yeah, I guess Sarkhan does turn into a giant, sexy dragon. That's a great point, chat. It's a really good point. I'm like really choked on red mana. I'll sack the clue token. It's pretty close though. Okay, let's play a Verdant Catacombs to be better against. I think I need to kill Teferi so I can hold up Bolt for a creativity this turn. I think it's pretty reasonable for them to just jam, but I mean they also knew I didn't. They also know I'm not playing the. I'm just not playing the Saga, so maybe it's not reasonable for them to jam if they have it. Let's get another Blood Crypt. Would really like to draw a discard spell. Okay, why don't we go Dash Ragavan, attack Teferi. And then they will trade the Dwarf token for the Ragavan, and we can just play a second Ragavan. And just make them have another fetch land and a creativity, which is obviously pretty likely. Play Murktide since a while. I haven't gotten any good results. What do you think is the main error I could be doing? I mean, it's impossible for me to say, like, what your main error is. Like, obviously something, you're probably, it's probably user error if you've been playing for that long and you're experiencing issues. But like without me like watching you play, I can't tell you what that user error is. Okay, so I'm gonna attack Teferi Time Raveler here. Bolt the Dwarf token attack Teferi. I think I'll still... They've already used 2 Teferis, though. I think that's still the name. I could name Scalding Tarn, still. Yeah, I'll still name Teferi. It's also, like, not 100% that my Ragavan gets to connect here. Wrenn and Six? You could name Wrenn and Six, but it's also true, like, I have Wrenn and Six in my deck. I have 4 Wrenn and Six in my deck. Yeah, I think like the biggest way to like figure out what you're doing wrong, of course, is to like take each game individually and try to identify why you lost that game. Is it a bad matchup and there was not much you could do? Could you have mulliganed more aggressively? Could you have sideboarded differently? Could you have sequenced differently? You know, was it just bad variance? Like trying to accurately identify why you're losing is a really valuable skill in Magic, but it's also a very difficult skill. It's very difficult to master. I think basically nobody can perfectly do it, to be honest. All right, hopefully we can draw an Alpine Moon. It's basically our only out. I think we have no outs now. We're dead, right? I mean, I guess if they have anything, we're dead. Yeah, I mean, we're just any mountain. And we're not really drawing to anything either at this point. Okay, bummer. Fall to 8-2 on the day. Still very good record. I think the creativity is probably not a great matchup. I am going to run it back for at least one more league. Ooh, I love Luckstone Smiter. Okay, tell me why Esper...